Well, hello lovely people and welcome to today's tarot video. In celebration of the upcoming eclipse season, we will be having a solar eclipse next Wednesday on the 2nd. We will be doing a reading on what you can expect to change, transform, happen, fall out or begin anew in your life. With eclipse energy, it is that time of the astrological year when profound changes can take place, especially changes which we didn't really think would happen, like things that hit us out of the blue, that type of thing. So we will be exploring what those changes will be for you. What is coming out of your life, what is coming in its place, what energy you need to embrace, and especially if you happen to have a significant planet that will be conjunct the eclipse in Libra. I think it's going to be at 10 degrees Libra. Or if you happen to be like me and have your birth date on the eclipse, then maybe the change will be even more profound for you. Who knows? But let's explore what this transformation that will come about in your life is. As you can see, there are 3 piles to choose from today. Pick either the card you feel the most drawn to or the sticker. And let's see what happens for you next. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the doggy sticker, then this is your part of the reading. Let's see what card you got from the spirit animal deck. So, for you, we have the frog card with transition. Oh, how fitting. So, what it says, this is a powerful time of change. Well, no shit. You are being called to connect with the world of emotions and feminine energies. You may also need to engage a process of cleansing, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, or energetic. Okay, pile 1. No beating around the bush for you guys. Let's put this here so we can draw some moonology cards, because with eclipses it is like sun and moon energy. I thought it would just be amazingly fitting. So what we're going to do first, I'm gonna pick for you guys a new moon 3-card spread. So you can either focus on a specific question that you have in mind if you do. If not, this can also work in a general sense about what is upcoming for you. So basically the first card will be a card answering the question of what's rising up in you. The second card will be the main message, this new moon, and the third card will be the final outcome. So let's see for our lovely pile 1. What's rising up in them, what's the main message they need during this new moon, and then the final outcome. Let's see for our lovely pile 1. Okay. This will be the first card. Let's not look at it before we draw the other 2. Then what's the main message for them this new moon? Let's take this one. And the final outcome. Okay. Great. So, let's start off with, we have the full moon in Libra card. How nice. So pile 1 having the full moon in Libra card as your first position for what's rising up inside of you. This card will signify this change having to do for you something with your relationships. Now this can be again friendship, platonic relationships, even family connections if you may, but it can of course signify romantic connections as well, because Libra can be both basically romantic and non-romantic. So it seems that somehow during this period something in your relationships will change, whether it will have something to do with a new relationship starting, an old relationship changing or falling away. At the forefront of your mind and of your emotional state as well will be the topic of relationships and of relating to other people. And with this card, there is a message in order to regain that equilibrium that Libra so much enjoys, is that that analogy with seasons. Some people come for a season, some people come to stay. This is with everything in our life, and as worth as it may be to sometimes fight for the things we believe in, our relationships being, of course, one of them, because you can't expect to get much if you don't put in any effort. There is also this idea of knowing when to stop and to not fight things. So we'll see how the spread continues, but either way, relationships seem to be a forefront for you during this time. It is possible that you also might have some kind of ego clash. Maybe this will be also the thing that brings up these feelings and thoughts to the forefront. If you have some kind of clash with somebody. Either way, again, main message of this card, go a little bit with the flow. Don't try to push things all that much. And this is generally with change also. So let's see then the second card for you guys. So the second card we have, don't let pride get in your way, with the full moon in Leo card. And this relationship, oof, there I go also. This card came up in the position of the main message you need to hear during this new moon. So with the full moon in Leo and the don't let pride get in your way, I would say this is kind of straightforward also. But there might be a clash somewhere here, and again it's going to affect your relationships in one way or another, where you will be asked to find the balance between what you need and what you want to do and what you strive for, and the needs of other people. So you might have been, or you might right now feel the need to be a little bit more pushy with people. Maybe you want to, what's it called? Like, if you are, so to say, forcing your ego and your will onto people, this will prove to be a challenge for you. This is something you will need to work through, and this is the main message for you during this new moon. You know, the idea of do to others what you wish to be done upon you. That type of energy is what you need to embrace at that time. And let's see the final card. Oh, that's really nice. We have the expect powerful change. Actually, with the new moon eclipse. That's awesome. This card again signifies the energy of something new and exciting and amazing starting for you. So it is basically an affirmation that especially if you have asked some kind of specific question, the answer would be that you have all the tools to achieve your dreams and to get the outcome that you are hoping for regarding this situation. The idea behind this card is, of course, then that this is kind of just the beginning, so you need to be prepared. Like, this might be a steep ride. It might take you for a spin around the block a couple of times. You might end up on the hood of the car also, so to say, like when you spin over like an off-road. So there might be something to this change and this new beginning that is kind of uncomfortable. But with every new direction, you kind of just have to again go with the flow. Like, it's not gonna feel amazing probably during the whole time, but there is this exhilarating feeling you get when you get pulled in a new direction that feels like the right thing. I hope I'm saying that clearly. So the idea is that whatever is happening and whatever will happen next is happening for you for a reason. And even if you don't necessarily see the whole reason at the moment, you are gonna be able to grasp the whole necessity of it later on. So you just need to have the courage to maybe step out of your comfort zone a little bit, like set your sights from the past and what has happened in the past up till this point, and look a little bit towards the future and what it brings. Okay, let's go to the tarot cards and let's get some messages from them as well regarding this change and transformation. So maybe for starters, let's ask about some more info on this change that will be happening for you guys. Let's take this one, this one. Oof, I have something in my throat. I hate this. I swear every time I sage, I'm the only demon that wants to get saged out of this house. I wonder whether it's possible to have a sage allergy. Such interesting things. Okay, let's do one. Oops, sorry. That was meant to be reversed. Let's do one more. Oop, there we go. Okay, see pile 1, even with the first card that came up for you, the reversed world card, it spoke about something that has been needing to get closed and left in the past for quite a while. And whether you probably had some hang up in closing that chapter, but now is the time for it to finally be done in your life. So you will definitely be embracing that energy of closing of cycles and bringing an open, like closing an open tab. You know how sometimes we open 100 tabs on our computer with the idea that we will sooner or later read it, and then it's 3 months later and it's still there. You are at the point where you will clearly see that this thing, this ending you are putting off is not really working for you. It might bring with it a little bit of a feeling of being undone, like you were supposed to do it up till this point, but you didn't. Either way, now is the time where you will finally come to the realization that no matter whether you did the job for this thing or not, it is time to close it. And there might be a part of this where there is a painful ending to it, because with the 10 of Swords, it is the card of us feeling like someone or even ourselves, something stabbed us in the back, we are hurt, but this is a card with the potential of extreme healing, because like from extreme sadness, from extreme drama, from anything extreme in life, you are able to pull out the wisdom and the knowledge and to find another perspective that will then change your course towards something better. And I feel like you will be stabilizing in yourself with the 4 of Pentacles coming up in the upright position. This is a card that speaks about stability. It can be potentially also like financial stability specifically, because it is a Pentacle card. But even if it's not necessarily financial, it's just a card that has the aura of being at peace with oneself. If you look at the lady sitting in the card, like she is not stressed. She is even meditating, I would say. Like, she looks like she is meditating. She looks like she is resting and nothing is bothering her. Now, I feel like the block, you will have to go through here in order to move forward. What this eclipse and this transformation is probably going to be bringing you. We received the two reverse cards, the Queen of Cups and the Magician, and also combining it with the Frog card and the transition message that we got at the start. There is this what's it called, this emphasis. There is this emphasis on you being called to connect with your feminine energy, with your intuition, with your emotions. So the Magician himself is not necessarily a water card, but you know, manifestation. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily can say it is a feminine thing, but it is the energy of creation. Like, you know, masculine, feminine energy, they create each in their own way. But when it comes to creating something out of nothing, I would say that this is definitely the feminine archetype. And you have this energy inside of you, but there is something in your potential that you still haven't tapped into completely. Like, there is some ground you need to explore a little bit more until you find that talent for creating something anew, to basically being the alchemist in this. And this will come to you, this creativity as well will come to you through working with your emotions somehow, because it is possible that you have a lot of blocked out emotions or backed up emotions, I would say, which are stopping the natural flow of things for you. The Queen has the potential to be an amazing creator. She has the potential to be in peace with herself and with her surroundings. But there will be, you need to find a way to let those emotions flow. A little bit by a little bit, and then the dam will basically break at a certain point and this will get cleared up. But you just need to start somehow. And there might also be the issue here of you putting the brakes on your own emotions, in the sense of something in the past bringing those negative emotions to you that you want to suppress. And there might be a sense of shame and not wanting to take responsibility for those emotions. Maybe the key for you here, which will get the ball rolling on this emotional, yeah, verstopfung, on this emotional, what's it called? Constipation, yes. What will get the emotional constipation going will be to sit down with yourself and take responsibility for those ugly emotions. I feel like you have been suppressing them because you felt some kind of shame for them all this time, and for potentially not doing things in a different way so you would not get those emotions to start off with. Either way, we are already at this place. Now, there is no need for you to feel any type of regret or shame about the things that have brought you to this point. It's just about accepting them, acknowledging what you have or haven't done, and finding a way to move forward. Let's try and ask, as a next stage of this change, what will happen, or what will be the next stage of you working through this. Yeah. Okay, I guess you want to come out then. What's the next stage for pile 1 of working through this change? What's the next stage in the change itself? Okay. Come on. What's the next stage of the change for our pile 1? Feel like this one guy comes up with each shuffle. What's the next stage of this change then for our pile? Let's do one more. Okay. Pile 1. Sorry. Sorry about that. The next stage of this will definitely bring the bliss and harmony that you are probably feeling the lack of right now. So we have two aces cards, both the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles, which can traditionally signify a new beginning both in the material realm and also in relationships. And if not in a literal if not in a literal sense, it can at least speak about the spark of inspiration igniting itself in you. And with the Two of Wands, there will be a point in this change where you would be clearly set on some kind of new path, which will lead you to two distinct choices to be made. And when this happens, you will need to again sit down with yourself and go through your options. The idea here is that you shouldn't only be staying in the mind, because Wands energy is fire energy. It is the energy of doing. So the idea here will be to take a good look at your options and then work out a tangible, actionable plan in which direction to take in order to conquer the world. And with the Six of Pentacles, this is a card that would also speak about some kind of give and take with other people, but it is give and take in its positive sense. You will probably either find support in someone else, or you potentially could be the one giving support to someone else. Either way, there is a sense of collaboration here and receiving something, receiving your just desserts, I guess, but in a positive sense, like not getting punished, that type of thing. I think this is what the saying normally means. But receiving like a reward for your work, let's say, or a helping hand, or even just making progress through receiving help from other people. There is a other people aspect to this card. And we also got the Three of Cups card, which also has a people aspect in it. On the one hand, because Cups energy often signify our relationships. So it could be that at this point you make yourself more of a member of a certain group, certain community, or you feel like your relationships improve. With the Three of Cups, I am more inclined to say those would be like the platonic type of relationships. Not Three energy doesn't necessarily speak about romance unless you are into those type of things. I mean, if you are, okay, to each their own. So yeah, when you move through that initial funk and find your balance, there will be something great and new, a start. But again, because we mostly got the starting cards from the deck, I am very much feeling that this will be just the start of the road for you. Like, you will see the results fast, but they will also require further work, because aces are new beginnings, twos are also new beginnings, you at the start of the road. Threes are collaboration with people. Like, sixes can be rewards, but it's not the end of the story. Like, this is not a one and done and you are in your optimal last place. But you will see the progress happening, exactly like the full moon eclipse card told us at the beginning. It might have its ups and downs, it might be uncomfortable, it might be new, but it has the potential to keep going and going. Let's do a couple of last cards that will have to do with advice for you. So what's some advice for our pile one? Ooh. Okay, do you want to come out? What's some advice for our pile one regarding this change coming up for them? Oop, you as well. Oop, 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 oop. Let's try again. You know what, pile one? I feel like what the advice for you guys is to let your hair down a little bit. Because with the Four of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles, we have this energy which reminds us to take a little bit of time for ourselves and enjoy our life. The Nine of Pentacles lady has the tendency to be a workaholic in her negative expression. And she asks of you to stop a little bit and to smell the roses. So maybe when you are down in the trenches of this change occurring, you might have the tendency to overburden yourself a little bit, to overexert yourself. Remember in those moments to take a step back, to smell the roses, to play with the birds, to enjoy yourself. With the Four of Wands, it is the same. Like, we need to celebrate even the small achievements, and we need to celebrate it with our close people. We can't be hermiting ourselves. We need a break. We need to enjoy ourselves. So definitely, if you find yourself forgetting about that, write yourself a memo and try to take a breather at every point in the way so you don't burn yourself out. It's that type of energy. And I feel like you will probably have this moment of realization on your own as well, that you need to find this balance. And with both the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords, a lot will happen for you through clear communication. I feel like you will be asked during this time, especially in your relating to other people, to work on your expression of yourself, of your ideas, on the way you communicate, on being clear, precise, and not getting too emotionally involved, so to say. You know, the Queen of Cups, she has the energy of a really clear-headed and balanced person. And this is what will also help you in this situation. Okay, pile one, I think that this is more than enough for you guys. I wish you all the best during the upcoming eclipse season, and I hope that this reading was helpful for you guys. Well, hello pile 2. If you chose the shopping sticker, then the card you got from the Animal Oracle is the Rabbit with Cleverness. So it says, if you have been going through difficult times, it is time to think outside the box to find the solution. This is also a reminder to avoid neglecting your creative side. If you have let creative projects lapse, it may be time to pick them up again. Ooh, that's a really nice message. So maybe during the eclipse season, you will be rediscovering within yourself the spark for creativity. That would be amazing. I love creative people. I love people who create things out of nothing in their spare time. And if this is you, then I wish you all the power. So let's start off with the Moonology deck, because it is also fitting for the eclipse season. We will be doing a small 3-card spread with the questions of what is rising up inside of you, the main message this new moon, and then the final outcome. So let's see what we got for you, pile 2. Now, for our lovely pile 2 with the rabbit card. What is happening for them during this eclipse season? Also, I forgot to mention, if you have a specific question that you need guidance on, then feel free to think about it specifically. Like this 3-card spread can work with a question, or it can work generally. It is whichever one you prefer. So, what's rising up inside of you? Then the main message of the new moon, the main message will be, it will be this one. And then the final outcome. What's the final outcome looking like for our pile? Okay. Let's see what you got. So, for the first card, we have the Cardinal Moon with the message of be bold and make the first move. Let's put it here so it is hopefully noticeable and in frame. So, yes, the Cardinal Moon came up for you in the position of what is rising up inside of you. So it seems with this card that the thoughts and feelings that are starting to creep up on you, whether you want them or not, is that this is the time for you to be bold and bossy. Be bold and make the first move. Maybe you have been, or you have felt that you are a little bit too laid back up till this point, maybe letting other people push you around, or letting life push you around in the way of not being like a punching bag or anything, but more like just waiting for things to unfold and going with the flow. With pile 1, we had more of the message of like going with the flow and chilling out and not forcing your ego and needs onto people. I feel like with your pile, we might receive the opposite message, but let's not jump ahead like the rabbit. Let's see what actually happens. So, but with this card, this is definitely going to be the time where you are going to start to think whether it would not be better for you to actually exert your will and take matters into your own hands. You know, cardinal signs and also like this solar eclipse will be in the cardinal sign of Libra. And like I said in the beginning, if you have especially like planets in Libra and conjunct on the day of the solar eclipse, this might be even more significant to you and your psyche. But cardinal signs are the starters of the zodiac. They might not be great at finishing things. I am guilty of this as a Libra myself. But they are the go-getters. They are the starters. They are determined at least at the start to get things moving. So this will be what comes up as a need inside of you as well. And there might be a challenge of this situation because changes always come with some kind of challenge to our internal status quo. You might somewhere along the line be required to answer honestly in front of yourself whether the thing that you're fighting for, the thing that you really want all that bad. Like, are you prepared to fight for it? This will probably come up as a question to you at one point or another. So if it is, for instance, something to do with your creative hobbies, maybe you, let's say, don't find the time to practice them enough, or someone is against you practicing them. There might be some kind of uproar against what you are doing, and this uproar will then ask of you to actually examine whether this path is something you want for yourself. You know, we have to fight for the things we want. So definitely the suggestion with this card will be getting clear on what you want and then acting on it, not being passive. You need to take an assertive stance. And like I said, those feelings will creep up on you, especially if you have been a more passive person up to this point. Now, then we have the main message, this new moon. The second position is the full moon in Sagittarius with look at the big picture. Let's just put it over here. Maybe it's not super visible, but it's fine. So, with the main message, this new moon being the Sagittarius card, it is a card that's asking you to not hyper focus. So the thing that has been holding you back up till this point and that you're starting to shake off might have to do with your tendency to hyper focus on details and be nitpicky. I had a call with a friend today who is dramatizing because we will be 30 soon, and she is also like a week ahead of her period, so probably PMSing, who knows. I told her to eat a chocolate bar and chill, but she was basically telling me how her life is falling apart and how she hasn't done anything up to this point and how like every option seems crappy and not being able to move her forward. And this is a problem we sometimes find our mind in, where all of the options we see seem like a bad choice or a not good enough choice, which helps us to remain stuck in this never-ending loop of just finding issues. And those are the issues of the details. Spending so much time exhausting your mental energy on the fact that something might not be optimal, especially because most of the times we think about things that might not be optimal without necessarily knowing anything. Because as logical as we try to be in our mind, we don't have the scope of all of the knowledge in the universe and all of the gazillion ways a certain situation may develop. So I am not saying, of course, that we need to jump into everything like we are toddlers. Of course not. You need to use your mind to the best of your capabilities, but that hyperfixation on small things that we can only guesstimate either way is not a helpful attribute in our day-to-day. So if you're finding yourself to be in this situation, this card will ask you to re-examine it. You will be forced somehow to look at the bigger picture of where you are moving in your life. So again, if it's like the creative projects, one example I'm thinking about, also coming from a friend from a while back, it is like someone asking you, well, why don't you do this? Like, for instance, why don't you just go out in the park and photograph people with your crappy camera if you want to be a photographer? And then that friend telling you back, well, no, I need to have done a course on it. I need to buy this equipment. I need this camera. I need that and that. No one's gonna hire me to do jack shit if I don't have all of those equipment. And you just get stuck and further stuck down the rabbit hole of the problem, and you never take a step ahead. If this is you, pile 2, stop. Stop it right now. If not right now, you will stop it next week on Wednesday when the solar eclipse hits you. Another message of this card with its fieriness of Sagittarius is to ask yourself whether you have been again all talk and no action. If you have, now will be the time to be all action, action, and no talk. So you better be walking the walk, pile 2. You know, the archetype of Sagittarius, or at least one of the archetypes, is of a pioneer. Technically, Aries can also be seen as the pioneer in the sense of it's the first person that does something, because the ram is the toddler we spoke about earlier. They just run into everything with their horns up high. Sagittarius is not that, but Sagittarius is the pioneer of exploration. So with this card, you will need to take a few risks, or at least take steps that feel like risks to you, because again, our mind can play tricks on us and make us believe things that are not necessarily objectively true. Good, I have rambled on long enough. Let's see the third card that came up for you. And we have the new moon. Ooh, very nice. With a new start is coming. So, the new moon came up for you in the position of, give me just a second, of the final outcome. So either way, the message for you, pile 1, is that there will be a new start here. This is quite the general card, I would say, because it can apply to everything, but it is also one of the most positive cards. Yes, there will be a new beginning. Yes, there will be change. Yes, there will be development. So if you are asking about a specific situation, whether it was positive or negative, there will be some kind of new start to it. If it is some kind of toxic situation that you are stuck in, then this card definitely suggests that this cycle will be closing and you will be starting something new and fresh instead of it. And if it is a positive situation, then this positive situation will definitely get a new spin to it. There will be some kind of development, something happening around it, basically. So let's pull out some tarot cards for you to get some more information, advice, and so on. So let's firstly do a couple of cards to get some more info on this change for you. So what would be some additional information we can get regarding this change for our pile 2? What's some additional information? What's some additional information on this change for pile 2? Okay. This card potentially also wanted to come out, so let's put it there as well. You know what, pile 2? I feel like these cards kind of show let's say like a time lapse of the path that this transformation will ask of you to follow. Because I put this card, like the Three of Cups, on this side because it fell out and I felt kind of unsure whether I want to take it. But technically it fell out after the Four of Wands. And when I look at your cards, this is giving me the energy of you starting on this side with the reversed justice in some kind of thinking about a point in the past that you probably have some regrets over, or you're feeling like you're maybe now working over the karma of this thing that you did or that happened, but there is more so the energy of you doing something and basically reaping the rewards or the negatives from it at this point. And there is this energy with the Eight of Cups of wanting to move forward, but also staying with one foot back into the hole. So there is this back and forth of, should I move forward? Should I not? And this feeling of potentially regretting how things have happened up till this point. There is the energy here that you need to embrace of whatever had happened, and whatever choice you made. You need to make amends with yourself regarding this. No matter, you need to admit the fault to it. The Justice card is not a card about blaming someone else or blaming fate necessarily for how things have unfolded up to this point. So definitely it will help you to take genuine responsibilities for what you have previously done. But then there is the next step of this journey for you, where you are basically just asked to continue walking ahead, despite some kind of potential feeling of loss or of like regret that you might be feeling. There is something about at the start of this energy where you are still blocked from moving forward because of some kind of fear of something which is blocking your energy to move. And you might also be experiencing this escapist tendency. But then once you start moving forward, we have the Seven of Swords, of Wands here. And the Seven of Wands on the one hand can speak about us feeling attacked somehow from other people. So if we are here talking about the idea of you starting to rely more on yourself, maybe potentially you seeing that in the past this agreeableness you had with people and this neglecting your own needs and your own wishes was not optimal, and that you need to move forward from it. At the start of this, on the one hand, you can be experiencing those feelings of regret and of fear of moving forward because it feels like you are walking the journey alone. And there might be a part of this journey where you would feel attacked by your circumstances and the people around you. And it might not feel fair, and it is probably not fair, but it is what it is. The thing is that with this card, she is sitting in her own bubble. Like, she might be attacked, but she is the alchemist of her own reality. She is the creator, the spark of fire, of creativity, of creation is inside of her. And the thing is that she is kind of protected by this ball. I mean, this looks like basically being in one of those giant, what's it called? Thingies that you can, for instance, get inside of them and then go into the ocean and not get wet. That type of thing. So there might be some kind of uproar against her, but she is sitting there calmly in her own presence and she is making something out of herself. And I feel like this will be the progression of how things happen for you too. Even if it feels a little bit stressful, you will find the point of feeling at ease with yourself in this energy. With this card, there is also the additional message of, yes, you are in your safe bubble and everything, and you are protected there, but also don't cut yourself off from the whole world. There will come a time when you need to share that spark inside of you with the outside world. And at this point, the spark will be so big that basically those swords that are aiming towards you wouldn't be able to get you. And also by sharing that with other people, you will find camaraderie in them. Then we also got the Four of Wands, and because it came up in the reversed position, this is giving me the feeling that a part of those things that you're gonna be leaving back in the past can be family relationships or also old friendships. So there might be an aspect to this eclipse for you where you will rediscover who the true helpful people in your life are. And those that are on this hate train towards you, that are attacking you, that are not being supportive of you growing and changing in this positive direction for you, those people will need to be cut off. Or if you don't cut them off initially, they will just fall out of your life slowly. And once that happens, I think, and once you also start to share those sacred thoughts and ideas of your creation with others, that will be the point where also some kind of new camaraderie comes up, some new relationships, some new support. And you will embrace that energy of the King of Pentacles. You will embrace the energy of authority and knowledge and ability. This is how the change will basically end itself for you. Like this is what is asked of you. This is the growth path that you need to follow during this time. And of course, this can also come with financial benefits, because again, like Pentacle energy is stereotypically material energy, so our finances, our material comfort, but it doesn't have to be. Like the King here is just a person who is self-assured. He is able to tame himself, and he is also able to tame the beasts around him. Like he has the authority, and he is not despotic. He doesn't force his will onto people. He just has this internal strength that people, animals, everybody can sense and can respect. This is the energy you are heading towards, pile 2. To tell you the truth, I even feel like this was quite the straightforward message for you guys. But still, because we did it with pile 1, let's ask for a couple of more advice cards on you moving through this change or helping yourself during this change. Anything that wants to come up in the sense of like whether it's additional information that wants to come up or some specific advice. Like, let's see. Now, how did I pull these out? Oh dear. Okay, pile 2. With these additional cards, I definitely would say, even if it doesn't sound super positive, that there will definitely be a part of this change that will wreak some kind of havoc on relationships of yours. And the message here is, for starters, to not give in to explosive emotions, because both the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups came up in the reversed position for you, which can signify some kind of emotional instability, which of course would make sense, especially if you're having a relationship disharmony. But you will be asked to somehow keep those emotions at bay, not to the point of pushing them down. You need to be aware of them. You need to sit down with them. You shouldn't be turning a blind eye or burying them deep down, because this will be how you end up with the explosive emotions, by not acknowledging them, or by telling yourself potentially that you're stupid, or that maybe you shouldn't be feeling those things. Like, no, if you have any of those tendencies, step away from them. You need to work with your emotions, and you need to have grace with yourself. But at the same time, even if you are met with people who don't understand you, who maybe attack you, it is also not going to be helpful to lash out at them. This is easier said than done, but still keep it in mind. And because we also got the reversed 10 of Cups, this again signifies some kind of relationship disharmony. The thing is, once you move out of that disharmony, or I would even say during the disharmony itself, there will be an aspect of this where you would feel much freer from your chains. With the reversed devil, there is this feeling of becoming unchained from something. Like, maybe you are finally seeing the reality of your situation and again of your relationships, and this is this moment of, oh yeah, this sucks that I am reading the writing on the wall, but at least I am finally looking at it straight away. I am not looking in the other direction, so the stress level kind of falls to the ground. Again, it's not pleasant, but there is a sense of Erleichterung to it, a sense of relief to it. Exactly. So, stressful or not, this disharmony that is on the horizon for you, you will feel better at the end of it. You will have the feeling of breaking some kind of chains that held you back up to this point. And there will be the feeling of regaining your power, because the devil is addiction, and when we are addicted, we don't have any power, we don't have any rapport with ourselves. You will be regaining that. And at the middle of these cards stands the Four of Pentacles for you, which is the card of stability. And again, I would say that this stability for you will go through somehow also setting yourself apart from your village. Not all the time. Again, at certain point you will be asked to share of yourself with other people and build a community again. But at the start of this change, or with the people who need to fall out, you might need to distance yourself a little bit, and you will find that stability within yourself. Okay, pile 2, I hope that this was helpful and that it resonates for you, and I wish you all the luck during the eclipse season. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the typewriter sticker, then let's see what your animal oracle card is. You got the raven with confidence. So what this card says is, you are encouraged to disconnect from the physical or materialistic plane and move to the spiritual realm. You have a deep spiritual connection which you mustn't ignore. You are on the brink of transformation and your divine purpose may be revealing itself. Okay, interesting. Out of the 3 piles, you maybe got the most quote-unquote spiritual card. Or the most general, in whichever way you prefer looking at it. Come on. Okay. The sun of my lamp is shining brightly this evening. Good. So what we will be doing today to try and understand what change and transformation is coming up for you during this eclipse season, we will be doing a 3-card spread from the Moonology deck because it is also fitting. And basically it will answer the questions of what is rising up inside of you, the main message this new moon is bringing, and then the final outcome. So if you have some kind of specific question that you need guidance on, you can go ahead and ask about it and focus on it. And if not, it can also be done in a general manner of what you need to do during the eclipse season and what you need to know. So let's see the first card for our pile 3 regarding the changes during the new season. So first card will be, what was it again? What's rising up inside of you? We'll take this card. Then we have the main message of the new moon. The main message of the new moon. We have this one. And then regarding the final outcome, what's the final outcome? Oops, I put it in the other direction. No spoilers, we'll go card by card. Good, so we have the full moon in Pisces card as the first one coming up for you. Let's see, so the full moon in Pisces card is in our initial position of what is rising up inside of you. So this will be a time where you will be somehow asked to balance the side of yourself that's trying to be too practical and the side of you that's trying to be too spiritual. You know, Pisces being ruled by Neptune are always a little bit all over the place. I don't even know how to say it in a more precise manner. Their head is always in the clouds, it feels. So there will be the thoughts and feelings that will come up inside of you during this time and during this transition will be if you are being a little bit too, let's say, otherworldly inclined, that you find a way to ground yourself and your visions and your ideas a little bit. If you are asking about some specific situation, the issue with this situation that you are working through at this time is that your efforts are somehow not concentrated towards your goal. You might have this Piscean scattered braidedness. I guess maybe this is not the perfect way to describe it, but again, water energy, Pisces energy, it is really ethereal. It is really out there. It is really ego dissolving. It is really all over the place. And this might be the issue that you are seeing in your situation as well. Now, at the same time, you need to take practical steps. You will see the need to take those practical steps and burden yourself and your creativity potentially with some responsibilities. But at the same time, this is not a card that's telling you to go into the completely other direction as well. Like, you need to find the balance of both dreaming and being dreamy and being practical, because if we only spend the day dreaming, we are not going to do jack shit. There might be also an aspect to this situation where you have been playing the victim a little bit too long, because Pisces, I would say, like water energy in general, yeah, Scorpio too, yeah, all of it, all of the water signs, but especially Pisces and Cancer, they love playing the victim. And sometimes you might get victimized in a situation by life, by circumstances, or whatever. But to become a victim, you have to see yourself as one. That it's like the old saying, in when you are sick, it is different to say you are experiencing sickness during this time or you are sick. Like that type of energy is what is looming over you at this time. If you have been feeling the victim in this situation, like somebody screwed you over or life screwed you over, that might well be, but it is up to you to pull yourself out of it. And with Pisces, there might not be something very clear in your mind about how to do it. If this is the case, try to sit down with yourself, for instance, in meditation and ask for answers to come up for you. Or if you don't like meditating, go for a walk somewhere in nature without headphones, without other people to talk to you, and spend some quality time with your thoughts. That's the best way for inspiration or higher callings to call upon us. You just need to find the space for it. And once that calling, that message comes up, the answer when it appears to you, then you need to move out of this super watery, romantic, dreamy-eyed energy and get to the more practical work. Okay, moving on to the second card that came up for you. We have the fixed moon with hold your vision. And this is the main message card that came up for the eclipse. And with the fixed moon, you know, fixed signs, those are Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, and also Scorpio. Those are the fixed signs. And fixed signs are amazing in deciding something. Whether they are right or wrong doesn't really matter, but just putting their foot down and sticking with it. This is also why it is called a fixed sign. It is fixed, it doesn't move. The main message of this card for you that comes up during this period of change is, it could be one of two things. Because of the dreaminess that we have previously, I would say that the main message coming up for you is that you need to hold on to the things that you are planning and that you are doing. Basically, you will be asked to somehow continue grinding in order to produce some kind of result. Now, another potential of this card with fixed energy again, a synonym for fixed is also stuck. So there might be an issue here that you are hyper focusing on one way of doing things or one way of looking at the world, and this might be keeping you stuck in your tracks. This is exactly why this transformation is coming for you, because something in this is no longer working and you need to move forward. So take both sides of this card as an advice for you, because one does not mean the other won't be present as well. Oh, I feel like today the words are just not coming to me. It's not the day for speaking. So, to put it briefly, Don't be stubborn in a stupid way, but be persistent in pursuing what you are pursuing. Okay, let's leave it at that. Now, the final card from the Moonology deck that came up for you, we have the full moon in Scorpio. Ooh, that's actually both, again, water energy, and it is also fixed energy. So, how fitting indeed. This came up in the final outcome position for you. And its main message is that it is time for you to release negativity. You know, Scorpio is probably the most paranoid sign out there. So there might be an aspect to you regarding this situation where you are untrusting of something and you are worrying too much about something not working out or someone trying to screw you over. The idea of this card is that this worry is kind of pointless. Of course, it is good to be guarded because you don't want people to walk all over you. But there comes a time where you are basically poisoning yourself with your own stinger and you are remaining stuck in that negative type of stuck. Not relentlessly pursuing something, but relentlessly stressing yourself out. Once you find this negative aspect of this situation that you need to release and start working on letting it go, then you will start to move forward. Now, Scorpios can be really emotionally intense, in general, water energy is the energy of emotions and they run deep. So you might experience these issues of having explosive emotions at some time. There might be some nasty emotions that you have to deal with as well, especially if this dealing is not only with yourself but also involves other people. To tell you the truth, up till this point, all of the 4 cards that came up for you are very spiritually vague. The other 2 groups seemed to pick up much more specific situations that are changing. I feel like for you, your general worldview, your general sense of what you are and who you are and what you need to do and how you need to change, it seems that this is going to be changing and not just one situation in your life like your job or your relationship with your best friend. It's going to be something more profound and intangible in a way. Scorpio rules with the 8th house, which is Scorpio related. It also rules change in the sense of death, not just change in moving from this room to the next room, but indefinitely closing some kind of chapter. So this might be also a season for you to finally move away from truly toxic things and leave them behind. Okay, let's move to the tarot cards to try and figure out some more information on this change for you. Because like I said a couple of times, out of the 3 piles, yours feels like the most personal in the sense of that it speaks about you in general and not just one situation necessarily in your life. Let's leave this here. We'll fix it in a second. So, what's some more information about our pile 3's transformation during this eclipse season? With some more info on our pile 3's change during this eclipse season. Okay, pile 3. So based on the tarot, the first two cards we got, on the one hand, 3 of the 5 cards that came up for you are major arcana. So this definitely speaks about profound change coming to be. And the first two cards that came up for you are the reversed star and the hermit card. So with the reversed star coming up for you, there is this aspect of you feeling maybe not at your wit's end exactly, but just feeling in a way hopeless, disappointed from something, kind of lost. If the star is our guiding light in the darkness, it seems like you don't have this light at this time, and you are giving it your all to look for it, to find it. With the reversed hermit, it seems that you're spending a lot of time on your own, trying to self-examine, trying to find some kind of answer, but there is something stuck there, and this is leading you to feel like you don't know what you're doing. It leads to this feeling of confusion and whether you are even doing the right thing. With the Hermit card, an advice for you is definitely that there comes a time where you have too much of a good thing. Like, it is good to spend some time with yourself, to explore, to think, to meditate. We even spoke about this at the beginning, where if you are unclear on something, you need to meditate on the answer, to ask for the answer, to quiet your mind in order for some kind of inspiration to come to you. But at the same time, there is a point, because life is all about balance, and with an eclipse in Libra, I feel like it will in all of our lives, it will require for us to get back to balance and lose illusions in one or more areas of our life. And for you, this balance will have something to do, again, with the practicality and spirituality versus the practicality of life. The cards you got at the beginning, you will need to move out of this isolation energy and a little bit more into the real world. It is possible, maybe for you, maybe this divine inspiration will actually come somehow through other people, or even to the not the creative, through the practical aspect of life. Who knows? Maybe this is a path worth exploring for you. If you find that up till this point, this way of doing things hasn't brought results, maybe now it's the time to try something new. And part of this something new will probably have to do with engaging with people, because actually all of the 3 piles, I think, or at least pile 2 also, got the 4 of Wands card. And the 4 of Wands speaks about letting your hair down a little bit, enjoying yourself, but also like spending time in community and people, and especially close community. We're speaking about like family members or close childhood friends. So it is possible that some kind of new spark for you comes through these other people, because your stuck energy feels like it is coming from, yes, the unpracticality that you are showing, but also of this hermit's mode that you are in. Like, too much spirituality also isn't a good thing. You need to sometimes go out and get drunk, and maybe some kind of divine aspiration comes to you then. You also got the Eight of Wands card, which is a card speaking about something happening slowly, something progressing slowly, something dragging itself out, you feeling frustrated with it. And also there might be, again, the general sense of a lack of direction. I honestly feel like the way that these things and these energies are going to change for you, they are going to change, of course, and it kind of feels like it's going to be on the whim of fate. Like, I don't know how to explain it better than that, but because the final card that came up for you is the Wheel of Fortune, the idea of the Wheel of Fortune is that it continues to always spin. One day you are on the top, one day you are on the bottom. It is best if you find a way to enjoy both positions, because you are not going to be in either one of those forever. And it is also a card of unexpected change happening, and also like having a moment of epiphany also. But like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like we already discussed also with the other piles, I am unable to produce thoughts today, apparently. So I feel like this change will happen to you on a whim. Like you will feel stuck one day, and then it will just suddenly hit you this divine inspiration. And this is also the point where this situation is going to change. Now, this is probably not going to be the end point of this situation, and especially if you are on the more spiritual change path, let's say, and again, not on the changing career or changing friend group or changing boyfriend. If you are on the more general changing your whole self and your sense of self and your beliefs, this is kind of a continuous process. So you will probably have a point in time where, again, you are on the top of the wheel, this divine inspiration hits you, you realize something great, you move forward, you make a step forward. But this is not going to be the last step of your journey. You will one day again be down in the dumps, not saying it in a negative way, like something negative is going to happen. But you know, progress is not linear. We are not always moving forward, or upwards rather. We move a little bit upwards, then we move downwards, then we go in a circle, then we continue going upwards. This will probably be what your journey is about as well. But again, it seems that there will be an important breakthrough coming to you with this eclipse. Now, I would say, pile 3, honestly, let's move into some advice. Let's see if some more specific advice comes to you about what you can be doing in order to improve, let's say, the speed of this change or the comfortability of this change. Like, let's try to gather some specific advice for you, because up till this point, everything feels very much like you would either understand it and you would be feeling it and resonate with it, or you wouldn't be like at all. So let's fight for some like practical advice for you. Practical advice, or even if no practical advice wants to come out, advice that will be helpful for our pile 3. Don't fall, don't fall. Whoop. Okay, crisis averted. Let's, yes, let's do 2 more cards. 2 more cards of advice for our pile 3 and their transformation. Great. So, pile 3. Let's see what wanted to come out. Now, the advice I am seeing for you. Oh, actually we also got this card, I feel like, in all 3 piles. Good. The advice for you starts off with the very specific message of practice makes perfect. Progress takes time and work. You being the Knight of Pentacles, it seems that the thing that will help you on this path of change will be exactly the practicality we talked about in the beginning. We need the spiritual part, we need the meditation part, we need the time for ourselves, we need to remain dreamers, but nothing is going to happen in our life if we just sit at the top of the mountain. Now, there are monks that do that, of course. If this is the road you feel drawn to, then that's great. But you are probably not if you are watching this. You need the middle path. And the middle path for you will require more practicality and walking the slow walk toward your goals. And the second card that came up in this direction as well is the Two of Wands, which asks of you to spend some grounded, practical, fiery time to convise a plan of where you want to go, what you want, and then in the next step to continue following that path. But still, because we are in the 2 energy, we are in the energy of being split between things, not being sure where we want to move into, and needing to do our due diligence and research and decide. And once you decide, then the practicality and the putting one foot in front of the other comes into play. Another aspect of this transformation for you, you are advised with the 6 of Pentacles. There is some kind of give and take here. So you probably need to embrace the energy of giving more of yourself somehow to your community, to your fellow human, to your, I don't know. You need to give some resource of yourself somewhere. That's just such an amazing sentence and piece of advice. The idea is that some kind of generosity will be asked of you, whether it's your financial generosity, being generous with your time. They're not saying that you should be used by other people. This is not at all the energy of this card. But it seems that maybe up to this point you were too closed off, and now you need to open up a little bit and be the giving hand in the situation. Because once you give, then there is also the potential that someone will repay you back. And again, this is not to say that you should do things purely out of hoping that you'll receive something back, because this will be like a travesty of this energy. No, it is good to strive for that place where you are giving because you want to. Let's say 90% you want to, and 10% you are hoping that you'll receive something back for it. But the balance is more towards the positive side. We also have the Page of Cups coming up in the reversed position for you. So the practical advice for you with this card will again be a reiteration of the idea that you need to get a little bit out of the dreaming inside of your head and moving onto active energy. There might be a potential with this card of being a little bit too sensitive, a little bit too emotional, in the sense of maybe getting hurt over insignificant things, over words, let's say, from people who don't mean anything, like finding something huge out of nothing, that type of energy. If you feel yourself in that energy, take like 3 deep breaths, count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and relax. Also, with this card, make sure you are not closing again yourself off to some kind of writing on the wall. If you feel that there is something there in this situation which is asking of you something that you might not exactly want to do or want to give, don't ignore it. Don't escape from it. Again, Pisces energy has the tendency of escapism, especially in daydreaming, and being somewhere else. This is not energy that's going to be helpful for you. And with the 3 of Cups, another piece of advice for you will be to somehow engage in relationships with people, especially with the 3 of Cups. I think I mentioned it in another pile, maybe in pile 2. It is energy of camaraderie. It is not necessarily romantic relationship. It is a relationship of being like a brother in arms with somebody, having the same goal, understanding the direction you are heading in is the same, and helping each other out, and basically riding into the sunset together because of ideas, not because you want to sleep with each other. So, and because we got the Hermit card for you in the beginning, I would say that this is just genuinely more confirmation for it. A part of this change will have to do with you exchanging more with other people, and like we said, probably giving more of yourself, not being negative. For instance, if you have some kind of negative thoughts and feelings surrounding relationships because of something happening in the past, let's say, with the Scorpio card, because of some kind of paranoia, distrust, move out of that as well. You need to build some kind of community around yourself, and this, I would say, generally happens by itself when we are not even trying, just when we get into the vibe of being balanced and following our own path, the people around us come up. But if you're finding that those people aren't coming up for you, then maybe again you need to take the practical approach of seeking them out. Basically, this is what I'm getting from your cards. So I hope that this was helpful for you, and I wish you all the luck during the change that's coming up for you.